Hi, all. This is just a little general intro for all of my students as we move into this interesting new phase of the course. It's wild. Who knew? But this is what we have to do, or we don't want you guys to lose the semester, and we'd like you to keep on learning something. So here we go. A couple of basic things you should know. This is all going to happen through D2L, basically. You should get in the habit of going to D2L every morning and checking out each of your course's home pages. People will be posting announcements. People will be doing this. People will be doing that. That's going to be Grand Central Station for all the stuff you need to know. The other thing is get used to checking your D2L email. It turns out you have D2L email, whether you know it or not. The college wants us all to be using that. And you might, and that this way, if you once you get used to it, it's a simple thing. You check that every day too. Basically, if you go to your D2L homepage and you look at the top of the page, you'll see like 9 little cubes, and right to the right of them, you'll see a little envelope icon. That's where your D2L email lives. Click on that. You'll get another little button that says email, and click on that. Okay. And you'll have an inbox, and you can email back to people. It's an internal system, so D2L can only talk to D2L. But as long as everybody gets in the habit of checking it, that's the way to go. That'll be the simplest thing for your teachers. I'm going to do it too. I do have this other contact information for you, and I'll use it if I need it. But assume D2L, okay? And check it every day. Okay, that's the first thing. For other things, what else do you need to know? The hardest, the biggest challenge, actually, for most of you, will be getting yourselves to do the work, even if there isn't a teacher standing there looking at you. This is human nature. It's hard to get ourselves to do things without some kind of social reinforcement. All of us, if there's somebody standing there in the room with us and they seem to want us to do something, we behave differently than if there's nobody in the room and we're just kind of on our own. So the trickiest thing for getting through these courses, and I know a lot of students who have flunked online courses, otherwise good students, because it takes a different kind of self-discipline and a different kind of thinking ahead. If you turn on your computer and maybe you glance at D2L, but then you go off and watch kitten videos, for an hour and a half, this isn't going to work. You'll flunk. That's just how it'll go, and you'll have wasted all that money and you'll have wasted all that time. So beware of the part of you that wants to sabotage you. Okay, we've all got that saboteur inside ourselves because, do I want to work? Well, maybe part of me wants to work, and another part of me doesn't want to work, and here's something else I can do instead. And as I say, that's much easier to do when you're on your own than it is if a teacher is standing there and you're in a room with them. So, but we can't have me standing in a room with you. So you've got to kind of be your own monitor. The other thing, communicate with me. But communicate with each of your teachers. But just for my courses, communicate with me. If things are messed up, and I'm going to be using a bunch of technology that's new to me. I haven't taught online before, so I know some things, and I have these gaps and things. It wouldn't be surprising if I try something and it just doesn't work, okay? Or it half works, or it's goofed up on your end. So let me know, okay? If anything's messed up, let me know, and we'll try and cope with it. We're all going to have to be adaptable. There's just no way around it. That's one of the things. When something unfamiliar happens, that's what we have to do. We have to adapt. So beware of your procrastinator, the procrastinator inside. That'll be your biggest enemy in terms of completing the courses successfully. And we want this to work, okay? We want you to learn something. We want you to get credits. I'm not going to give them to you. I'm not just going to give you the credits, because I feel bad about the virus. You're going to have to work. And that means you're going to have to keep yourself at work. And I'll do everything I can think of to help with that, but in the long run, it'll be on you. Okay, so which doesn't reach out to me if there's a way I can help. If there's an obstacle or a barrier that I can lower. Okay. Beyond that, for each individual course, I'll be giving you heads ups about what's going on. I'm going to try and keep the assessments as similar to what we've already done as I can. I'm sure that'll change. That'll have to evolve. But I'm pretty new at this as well in these early days, so don't be surprised if I do change things, but I'll give you lots of notice if I do. In general, however, I'll try to stick to the syllabus as closely as I can. And if there are unforeseen problems, and there will be, things I just didn't think of or anticipate, let me know right away. Okay, you know how to reach me. There's all kinds of ways to reach me. You can reach me through D2L, you can reach me through regular email, you can text me, you can call me, all that stuff is there, and I'm happy to hear from you. Hey, I'm kind of lonely here in the house, so, a little company isn't the worst thing. Let me say one other thing to you guys. I don't know if this will sound funny to you. I'm actually grateful to have you. Okay? I liked you when I got to see you in person too. But I'm also grateful to have you for this particular time because it gives me something to do that feels as if it means something. Okay? And I hope you can feel that way too. That might be something to do with your own psyche for the next few months. At least you can do school. And school matters. School means something. And school, school points towards the future. And I think at this point we all need something that can point towards the future. So, and that, I don't know, I get to feel useful if I do this. The better you respond, the more useful I'll feel, so I'd be really grateful if you do your work and everything. Some things about how I give the assessments will undoubtedly change. It'll have to do with how do I keep people from cheating and all that. Not most of you wouldn't, but some of you would, or somebody would. And you'll hear more about that. That'll get into the specifics of your particular course. Use this time. Use it as a purpose. I'm going to use it as a purpose. I recommend it to you too, because I actually feel better when I'm doing this than I do it most of the rest of my day. So, it's something to have something. It's useful to have something you can plunge into. You can immerse yourself in. One other thing, I'll editorialize just a little bit. Do what you can to be safe and to keep other people safe. Most of you are young and in good health, so most of you won't, die from this virus. A majority of you may well get it, okay? But a lot of the cases are asymptomatic or are mild, and that's especially true as people get younger. However, so you don't have to feel like you're personally on the brink of death, but think about taking care of your parents and grandparents too, and other people's parents and grandparents, because that's a real thing. They're the ones who are really at risk, and younger people can too, and people in bad health. So be as intelligent as you can be about not spreading this. Do it for love, okay? For love of others. And, if you're wondering, it's not that big a deal, no. I think if anybody who's told you that has been misinformed. It is a very big deal. A huge proportion of the population will at some point get infected with this virus. But how slowly they get infected will make a big difference to whether the hospitals can deal with it and whether we can deal with it, and whether we'll get a vaccine in time to save people on the end of the curve. So be foresighted and be responsible. If you're wondering who to trust, my recommendation would be to get your medical advice from a doctor, from doctors and scientists, and not from politicians. Because they have their own agendas. They have their own desire to stay in power or to attain power. So they're not trustworthy. Scientists are trustworthy. Okay, on this particular issue, it's a scientific issue, and that's who I urge you to listen to. Okay? And don't go partying. There are people doing pub crawls in Boston for St. Patrick's Day. It's the stupidest thing I ever heard. It makes me crazy. Don't you do dumb stuff like that. Okay? Be smart, if only for your grandparents' sake. Okay, so there you go. That's just kind of the a kickoff. And for each individual course, I'll make videos to kind of tell you what's going on next, and I'll communicate with you. I'll put announcements up on the course's D2L homepage. I'll email you through D2L, and I hope you all stay safe and in relatively good spirits, and we'll get through this together. That's the silver lining in something like this. It can take us out of our unselfishness, and it's a beautiful thing when people get each other through something, and we have a chance to do that. Okay?